How to handle a woman who hurts you. Welcome, friends. Today we embark on a journey of self-mastery and inner peace. We've all faced moments when someone we care about has hurt us, leaving us feeling lost, angry, or broken. But what if the power to heal, to rise above that pain, lies within us? In this speech, we'll explore how to turn hurt into strength, how to embrace challenges with grace, and how to cultivate a calm, unshakable spirit, no matter the storm. Stay with me until the end, and together let's unlock the wisdom to transform every setback into a step toward personal freedom and spiritual growth. Number 1. Emotional detachment. One of the most powerful practices in Stoic philosophy is emotional detachment, which is not about suppressing feelings or being cold-hearted, but about gaining control over our emotional responses. It means recognizing that while we cannot always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. In essence, it's about creating space between the external event, such as being hurt by someone, and our internal emotional response. There is a story of a wise old man and his young disciple. One day, the disciple came to him, deeply upset after a friend had betrayed him. His emotions were running high, and he couldn't understand why his friend would act this way. The old man, with calmness, simply said, "Emotions are like the wind, wild and unpredictable. But you are the tree, rooted and steady. The wind may blow, but it will not move you if you stand firm." This story highlights an essential Stoic teaching. While emotions are natural, they do not need to dictate our actions. Emotional detachment is not about ignoring or avoiding our feelings, but rather observing them without becoming overwhelmed. It's the ability to step back from the rush of anger, sadness, or frustration and choose how to react thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Emotional detachment might involve taking a few deep breaths before responding to hurtful words, or stepping away from a tense situation to reflect. This pause creates the space needed to reflect on what is happening and how we want to respond. It's a conscious decision to not let our emotions control us, but to rise above them with clarity and reason. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This teaching reminds us that our true power lies in our ability to manage our responses. By practicing emotional detachment, we can navigate even the most challenging emotional experiences with grace, composure, and wisdom. Emotional detachment allows us to find peace amid chaos. It enables us to face difficult situations without being swept away by the tide of emotions, empowering us to remain rooted in our values and inner strength. Number 2. Acceptance of impermanence. Stoicism is the acceptance of life's impermanence. This means understanding that everything, both joy and pain, is temporary. Recognizing the fleeting nature of all things helps us navigate the challenges and hurt that inevitably come our way, including the emotional wounds inflicted by others. When someone hurts us, it can feel as if that pain will last forever. The emotional impact can linger, clouding our thoughts and affecting our actions. However, Stoicism teaches that nothing in life is permanent. Just as happiness and success are transient, so too are the moments of pain and hardship we experience. This realization is essential for emotional resilience. It reminds us that, although we might be suffering now, the pain will eventually fade. Accepting impermanence does not mean we should ignore or diminish our pain. It simply means that we must understand that hurt, just like all other emotions, will pass with time. When we accept that everything, including our emotional state, is subject to change, we free ourselves from clinging to negative emotions. We stop allowing ourselves to be trapped in the present moment of hurt and begin to see the bigger picture. Life is in constant flux, and so too is our emotional experience. When someone we care about hurts us, the emotional wound may seem all-consuming at first. We might feel betrayed, abandoned, or misunderstood. However, by acknowledging that the pain will not last forever, we can step back and view the situation through a broader lens. This shift in perspective allows us to move through the pain with less attachment to it, reducing the hold it has over us. We understand that in the grand scheme of life, this moment is just one of many, and it will eventually pass. By accepting the impermanence of our emotions, we also develop the ability to appreciate the good moments more deeply. When we know that both the highs and the lows are temporary, we come to value each experience for what it is in the moment, without fear of it being forever lost or clung to. Embracing impermanence allows us to accept pain with grace. We can experience it fully without resisting or fearing it, knowing that it will eventually make way for peace and healing. Number 3. Self-control. Self-control is a fundamental pillar of Stoic philosophy, especially when faced with emotional or psychological challenges. It is the ability to manage one's impulses, emotions, and reactions, regardless of external circumstances. In the context of handling hurt, particularly when someone we care about causes us pain, self-control becomes an essential tool for navigating the situation with wisdom and grace. In a world full of external triggers, it's easy to act impulsively. When someone hurts us, whether through harsh words, betrayal, or neglect, the immediate reaction may be to retaliate or to lash out in anger. These reactions are driven by our emotions, which if unchecked can lead to harmful decisions and consequences. However, the Stoic approach emphasizes the importance of exercising restraint and pausing before reacting. Instead of acting out of instinct, self-control urges us to take a step back and choose how to respond thoughtfully. Self-control requires mindfulness and awareness. It involves recognizing the emotions that arise in response to a situation, but not allowing those emotions to dictate our behavior. A Stoic does not deny their feelings, but acknowledges them and chooses to act in accordance with reason rather than impulse. By practicing self-control, we maintain the ability to stay calm and composed, even in the face of emotional turmoil. One of the most powerful aspects of self-control is its connection to our internal peace. When we let our emotions guide our actions, especially in moments of hurt, we surrender our sense of inner calm and hand over our peace to external circumstances. This can lead to regret, guilt, or further conflict. On the other hand, exercising self-control allows us to protect our inner tranquility, enabling us to make choices aligned with our values and principles rather than being swept away by temporary emotions. In Stoicism, the ultimate goal is to align our actions with virtue, regardless of the external circumstances. If someone hurts us, the Stoic response is not to retaliate or harbor resentment, but to maintain self-control and act with dignity. By doing so, we protect not only our peace of mind, but also our integrity and personal growth. Self-control is not about suppressing our emotions, but about mastering them so that we can respond with wisdom, composure, and strength. Number 4. Understanding human nature. A fundamental aspect of handling hurt is understanding human nature. Especially when someone we care about causes us pain, it's essential to recognize that all individuals, regardless of how well we know them or how close we are imperfect and subject to their own limitations, struggles, and flaws. This understanding allows us to develop empathy rather than resentment when faced with hurtful actions. In the Stoic view, human beings are not perfect by nature, and neither are our relationships. We all carry with us our own baggage, fears, insecurities, misunderstandings, and emotional wounds. These inner struggles often manifest in the way we behave and interact with others. When someone hurts us, it's important to realize that their actions may stem from their own internal turmoil or personal difficulties. This understanding can make it easier to approach the situation with compassion rather than anger or frustration. People may hurt others for various reasons. They may act out of ignorance, fear, jealousy, or unhealed emotional wounds. Sometimes individuals may lash out because they don't know how to express their feelings constructively, or because they're dealing with their own unresolved conflicts. In these instances, their hurtful actions are not necessarily a direct attack on us, but rather a reflection of their own internal struggles. Recognizing this distinction can help soften the emotional impact of the hurt and allow us to respond with a clearer, more compassionate mindset. When we acknowledge the imperfections of human nature, we free ourselves from the expectation that others should always act in ways that align with our desires or standards. In relationships, it's easy to become frustrated when people fall short of our expectations, but understanding that everyone is on their own journey of growth can foster patience and tolerance. This perspective helps us let go of the idea that we are entitled to perfect behavior from others, and prepares us to accept the reality that hurt will sometimes come, even from those we trust and love. Understanding human nature helps us avoid taking things personally. When someone hurts us, it's easy to internalize their actions as a reflection of our worth. Stoic approach encourages us to separate our self-worth from the actions of others. People's behavior is often more about them than it is about us, and understanding this can help us avoid the emotional traps of self-blame or victimhood. Number 5. Focus on what you can control. One of the core tenets of Stoicism is the idea of focusing solely on what is within our control and accepting what is beyond it. This mindset becomes particularly vital when we are hurt by someone else. We cannot control the actions, words, or behaviors of others, but we always have the power to control how we respond. When we are hurt, the natural response is to feel anger, sadness, or frustration. These emotional reactions are natural, but Stoicism teaches us to recognize that these feelings are not fully within our control. They arise from external events and the way we interpret those events. While we cannot always control how others behave, we can control how we interpret those behaviors and how we choose to react. By focusing on what we can control, we redirect our energy away from trying to change or fix the actions of others, which is ultimately futile. Trying to control another person's behavior or seeking to change their actions out of frustration only leads to more conflict, stress, and emotional turmoil. The more we try to control what is beyond our reach, the more we allow ourselves to be swept away by forces outside our control. The Stoic response is to shift the focus inward. We can control our own thoughts, our actions, and our emotional responses. If someone hurts us, we can choose whether to respond with anger or with composure. We can choose to reflect on the situation, learn from it, and move forward without letting it dictate our future actions or state of mind. In fact, it is in these difficult moments that we have the greatest opportunity to strengthen our inner character and resilience. This focus on control also extends to our self-care and personal growth. Instead of dwelling on how we've been hurt, we can focus on actions that will help us heal, whether that means practicing mindfulness, engaging in physical activity, seeking wisdom through reading or meditation, or simply taking time to reflect. In this way, even in the face of external pain, we can use the situation as an opportunity to cultivate inner peace, strength, and wisdom. When we embrace the Stoic approach and focus on what we can control, we stop being at the mercy of others' actions and instead take command of our own responses, leading us to greater emotional stability and peace. Number 6. Resilience in adversity. Resilience in adversity is one of the key elements of Stoic philosophy, especially when faced with emotional pain or hurt from others. The Stoic approach teaches us that suffering and hardship are inevitable parts of life, and it is not the absence of adversity that leads to growth, but rather our response to it. When hurt by someone, resilience allows us to rise above the pain and transform the experience into an opportunity for personal growth and strength. Resilience begins with the understanding that hardship is a natural part of the human experience. Every individual faces moments of difficulty, betrayal, or hurt. This is simply a part of life. Instead of viewing these challenges as negative or unfair, the Stoic mindset encourages us to see them as chances to practice virtue, strengthen our character, and develop emotional endurance. Adversity, then, is not something to avoid, but something to embrace and learn from. When we are hurt, especially by someone close to us, it is easy to succumb to feelings of defeat or helplessness. However, resilience teaches us to acknowledge the pain without letting it define us. Instead of seeing ourselves as victims of circumstance, we are encouraged to take control of our mindset and choose how we respond. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters." Resilience therefore involves an active decision to move forward despite the pain, to persist in our journey, and to not let the hurt consume us. This process involves emotional fortitude, allowing ourselves to feel the pain, but not letting it dictate our actions. In practical terms, resilience is about taking a step back in the heat of the moment, reflecting on the situation with a calm mind, and choosing to act with wisdom rather than reacting impulsively. It's about not allowing our emotions to control us, but rather controlling our emotions with reason and composure. Resilience encourages us to learn from adversity. Instead of focusing solely on the pain or the injustice of being hurt, we can ask ourselves what this experience can teach us. How can we use this hurt to build emotional strength? How can we grow from this? Resilience in adversity is about transforming the wounds we endure into the lessons that guide our future actions and decisions. By practicing resilience, we become better equipped to handle future difficulties, not by avoiding them, but by facing them with the wisdom, strength, and peace that come from Stoic principles. Number 7, forgiveness and peace. In Stoic philosophy, forgiveness is a powerful tool for inner peace and emotional freedom. When we are hurt by someone, it is easy to become consumed by anger, resentment, or a desire for revenge. However, the Stoic mindset teaches us that holding on to negative emotions, especially those tied to others' actions, only serves to harm us. Forgiveness in the Stoic sense is not about excusing the wrongdoer's behavior, but about freeing ourselves from the burden of negative emotions and restoring our peace of mind. The concept of forgiveness begins with understanding that we cannot control the actions of others. People will hurt us, sometimes intentionally and sometimes unintentionally, but how we choose to hold on to or release that hurt is entirely in our control. By forgiving others, we let go of the power they have over our emotional state, rather than allowing their actions to continue affecting us long after the event. Forgiveness enables us to regain our inner tranquility. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting the hurt or condoning the wrong that was done. Instead, it involves accepting that the event occurred and choosing to release the emotional grip it has on us. By doing so, we acknowledge that we are not defined by the wrongs committed against us. Holding on to anger or resentment often gives more power to the person who hurt us, as they continue to occupy space in our minds. By choosing forgiveness, we take back that power and choose to move forward with peace in our hearts. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This perspective highlights the strength in forgiveness. It is not a sign of weakness, but a demonstration of control, wisdom, and maturity. When we forgive, we do not allow the negative behavior of others to disrupt our inner calm. Instead, we remain steadfast in our own values, unaffected by the chaos that others may bring into our lives. Forgiveness also helps us to maintain a sense of compassion for others. By recognizing that everyone is flawed and that many people act out of ignorance, fear, or pain, we begin to understand that their actions are not always a direct reflection of us. This understanding allows us to respond with empathy rather than judgment. Through forgiveness, we open the door to emotional healing and personal growth, allowing us to move forward with greater peace, resilience, and strength. Handling the hurt caused by others requires a Stoic approach rooted in emotional detachment, acceptance of impermanence, self-control, understanding human nature, focusing on what we can control, resilience in adversity, and forgiveness. By practicing these principles, we regain our inner peace and strength, transforming painful experiences into opportunities for personal growth. Remember, you cannot control the actions of others, but you can control how you respond. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you all the best on your journey towards emotional freedom and wisdom. Good luck, and may peace and strength guide your path.